Ford Foundation is 65, and we wanted to celebrate Ford Foundation not only because they have been excellent partners to us, TechHer, but also because of the support that they have granted to the wider civil society movement in Nigeria. Secondly, we wanted to take this 65th anniversary opportunity to interrogate a few questions like resilience. How are we surviving as civil society in Nigeria? How are we fighting things like civic suppression, the shrinking civic space, the shutting down of dissenting voices? And so we thought, what better time to come together as we're talking about 65 years for a donor organization to talk about and look at ourselves as civil society. Where are we today? Where are we going? How are things like, changes in funding, changes in government structure, tense political climates, how are those types of things affecting us as civil society? How do we come together? How do we build solidarity? How do we continue to ask ourselves questions so that we can be as effective, if not more effective than we've been before? And that's what this event's about. And so us coming together today is to first celebrate with Ford Foundation on their 65th anniversary, because it's a great thing, right? But it's also for us to reflect, where are we?
But a social movement, for me, that is not resourced by the people, has to go back to the drawing board. Well, for the Ford Foundation, our focus has always been on ensuring that vulnerable voices are heard. We believe in the agency of women, especially young women, and TechHer has been at the center of that, making sure that young feminists have a voice, that young feminist issues are brought to the fore, and that young women are able to impact decision making. And so what they're doing is quite central to the work of the Ford Foundation, because by ensuring the agency of young people, we ensure that the Nigerian society is able to carry along all its sectors, all the different groups of people, especially the most marginalized, which are women. I think you sustain hope by being realistic and to invest in those small wins and to recognize those wins as you go along, because sometimes we don't even know that we have won. We're so focused on the big picture that we don't realize that we have actually won. And so it's to look at the journey in a way that shows incremental steps.
During the fireside conversation, Dr. Chichi did mention that one of the things that we do is that we forget the things that we're doing, and most importantly, like she reinforced that a lot. My husband will always say to me, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Sometimes you get frustrated because you're looking for results immediately, but we must be ready to look at those little wins and look at where we are coming from and how far we have gone, no matter how little it is.
Today's event was fantastic. The moment that resonated with me the most was during the panel session when the CEO or the moderator of the panel, Chioma, was asking, what is the missing link? I'd raised up my hand to say what I thought the missing link was. But for me, I think that it should be less of competition, even amongst us as CSOs. It should be more of collaboration. We need to be able to collaborate with each other. Like someone highlighted, they shouldn't just be bring people to events, speak to the traditional rulers, and then we go home to the next event happens before we can bring people. So I think that resonated with me. And then if we're able to piece that missing link, I believe we may have gotten 50% of what the problem is resolved.
My key takeaway from this event has been phenomenal, and it really borders on the fact that everybody is ready to position themselves to be the change they want to see. Positioning in the sense that we talked about things. I will start from my company called H. It's H for a reason. It's all about humanity. So we talked about that today. We talked about resilience a lot, because how do we continue on this journey when it almost seems like all the forces are against us? But today I learned and I saw and I felt a lot of the right energies in the room, the unity, the bonding, the fact that we can all come together out and have the same voice. One voice means that we're going to have even more impact.
I think I'm going to add a question. Where do you get your courage from? And how can you give a sprinkling of it to all of us who are sitting here?
The naming and shaming. When you name, when they do something right, when they do wrong, who does the shaming?
How can we show kindness And all of that just leads to the fact that we're almost losing ourselves when we think about humanity.
So how have you been able to sustain speaking truth to power for many years? How have you been able to sustain this as not as an NGO or someone in the CSO space, but as an active citizen?
We should leverage our strengths and outsource our weaknesses, just like Chiamaka rightly said.
Today I've been inspired by just seeing a lot of partners, a lot of people that we have worked together with for so long, and to see just how still passionate they are about issues of social justice. I think that is critical and important. I've also been inspired by the passion that people have shown, commitment, as well as the hope. Even in the context that we are in Nigeria at the moment, where there's still quite a lot to do and lots of work. And sometimes it does look like hope is lost. But I'm inspired by the fact that, there's still a lot of people that are still willing to give it a go, are still willing to commit time, resources, and knowledge to the cause of social justice.
This is an important moment for us. Same as Ford is celebrating 65 years, we at TechHer, we're celebrating 7 years. This is so many years, for 65 years in the case of Ford and 7 years in the case of TechHer, of resilience, of courage, of connection, and building communities. This is important. We needed to, we needed to document the progress that we are making as TechHer and in our work with Ford Foundation. This helped us to strengthen and even strengthen the ecosystem, basically, as it relates to social justice in Nigeria.
So faith and culture leaders and institutions have a significant role to play in shaping the terrain of social justice in Nigeria and anywhere else in the world. And the reason why I say that is because the faith of individuals is at the very core of their existence. People are driven by what they believe in. Their convictions shapes the way they see the world. Their convictions shapes the way they perceive other people in their society. So if people must become conscious of social justice, then their faith must translate from being just something that they do within the four walls of their religious institution, whether it's a mosque or a church or a traditional ruler's palace. It must shift from there to their everyday living.
We've said a lot inside. You see, in Islam, faith and culture, they are the basis of what we call social justice. In many places in the Quran and many places in the prophetic traditions, we're made to know as a Muslim that social justice is part and parcel of our religion. The Prophet came to preach and practiced social justice, and it's embedded on every so-called believing Muslim to practice it in their ways of life.
Collaborating with an organization like TechHer, especially for us at Invictus, means that we're able to work with an organization, one who shares the same direction, the same values, the same focus with us. TechHer works, in ensuring that technology is being used to advance social justice, and particularly gender justice. At Invictus, we ensure that data is available, and then we advance that data, using technology. But the key thing also is that, if we look at the theme of this year's 16 Days of Activism, we will see how, technology-facilitated gender-based violence is a key part of the theme. And so working with an organization like TechHer means that we are also able to advance, the call to end all forms of online and technology-facilitated gender-based violence, both in public spaces and in private spaces.
Tell me, what makes you special? Yes, you. Why should the world pause to hear your story? You might say, oh yes, it's because I have a grass to grace story. True, everyone loves a good grass to grace story. Even me, I do. But does that really make you special? Does it mean that decades after you're gone, the world should still gather to hear your name? Probably not. A grass to grace story is impressive. But you see, there's something even more powerful. It's the story of grace that finds its way amongst the grass. The story of grace that finds its way amongst the grass. Now that is a rare kind of story. Some people would even say that it is impossible. But tell me, have you ever seen a lion or heard of a lion wielding its powerful roar, not for the pride, but for the lambs in the jungle? Have you ever seen a lion take its place amongst the prey in the jungle and choose to be bitten by the hyenas, wincing in pain as they laugh and tear at its powerful mane? Tell me now, have you ever witnessed such? No? Otio, do you know the lion of which I speak? I speak of the lion of Lishabi, the one, the only, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. But let us all start from the very beginning, from the day this lion was born. Contrary to what superstitions say, on the day this lion was born, the rain did not fall the same time as the sun shone. Not at all. It was like every regular Thursday in Igbaland, and that is exactly the point. The greatest people are born ordinary. So you might say, what then makes them special? Abby? Should I tell you? Should I tell you? I'll tell you. It's in the way their hearts beat. Are you surprised? Are you? Oh, you thought that all hearts beat the same? Come on, don't be fooled. Oh no, some people's hearts beat differently. Racing after truth, racing after knowledge, racing after freedom. And this was the kind of heart Frances was born with. Oh yes, I said Frances because that was her first name. What did I call it? Frances, meaning the freed one. And indeed, she was born into a line of freedom fighters. Her grandmother, Sarah.
A lot of times we focus on just doing the work, right? We're going into communities, we're talking to beneficiaries, we're building structures, we are filling gaps, we are advocating, we're doing all sorts of things. We often don't have a lot of time to come back and reflect. And so this event for us is more a time of reflection. We want to ask ourselves, where are we today? Like I said earlier, we want to talk to each other. A lot of us operate in silos. A lot of us are just doing our work. We are not checking in with other people. So today, I hope that attendees and participants will make friends. I hope that they will meet someone new. I hope that they will shake hands with someone. I hope they will collaborate after today, because we have to find a way to spread and utilize effectively the lean resources we have. So this event for me, this event for all of us at TechHer is about community, is about solidarity, is about collaboration. And we're doing all of this in honor of Ford Foundation as they turn 65.